Welcome back. My name is, I'm your host, Keith Cunningham. This is also your host,
Travis Lee Gearhart.
This is episode 17 of
17 weeks of this already. Two a week, starting in, I think, when did we start doing 2 a week? Like week 8, something like that.
Something like that.
But it's been cool. We got some really good guests coming up. We were supposed to do an interview earlier today. He forgot about his wife's birthday, so he had to reschedule. He actually asked me if we could reschedule for Tuesday. I told him we already had one on Tuesday at 7. I said, let me see. I'm like, could you do it either before that or after? So we might pull a double shift on Tuesday. Just if that works for you. But we can talk about that after. So this episode, me and Keith kind of talked about it this week. You know, a lot of our like regular week episodes, we kind of just talk about sports. We talk about what's happening. This week there was kind of a theme, you know, and really that theme was injustice. That's kind of the theme this week, right?
Everything that we were seeing in the news or seeing in social media was crazy things that have happened. Like the girl that got stabbed, was it on a bus or the train or whatever it was? The Ukrainian refugee. Do you remember what her name was?
God, what was her name? Let's find. Hold on. Let's not forget her name. What was the name of the?
Anyway, she got stabbed, died. Nobody helped her. She doesn't know anybody, so she just kind of sat there and bled out.
Irana Zarutskaya, 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee.
She was stabbed by who? His name doesn't matter. But he was able to stand trial.
Carlos Brown Jr.
He was able to stand trial 13 times or 14 times. And now all of a sudden he is not mentally fit to stand trial.
Yep. That's the latest. That's the latest on it. He is all of a sudden not mentally fit to stand trial. So, but in the meantime, while that's happening, we have, let me scroll up here. We have the ketamine.
Hold on. Let's stay with this for a minute.
Okay. I was just going to do a comparison, but go ahead. Yeah.
We also have Tanner Horner, who was a FedEx driver, who hit a girl with his truck and then brought her in there and killed her, basically. Athena. And now he's on trial, and now he's claiming that it was his alter ego that killed her. So he's also trying for the
craziest,
mentally unstable.
Yeah. It's hey, what do you say, man? What do you say? You don't have anything resembling justice in this country anymore, dude. You know, like you've got that stuff, right? Of what we just said. And in the meantime, you've got the Ketamine Queen, who was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Okay. Now, whatever you feel about drugs and shit, I personally have never taken ketamine. I have no desire to. I know that there's been kind of a push lately that have said that it can help with some mental health stuff. I don't know. Really, I thought it was a horse tranquilizer. I don't know. I guess I'm just not cool enough. You know, I've never been down a K-hole. She was found guilty of 15 years, right? So the two doctors that were also prescribing Matthew Perry, which means that they weren't very good friends, they got...
I see what you did there.
See what I did? Well, the two doctors got... Dr. Salvador Plasencia, sentenced to 30 months. Dr. Mark Chavez, sentenced to 8 months of home confinement. There's still a couple other doctors scheduled for sentencing, but if this is any indicator, so why is it that the doctors don't? And they said because they reached a plea agreement and they worked with prosecutors. So probably what happened is because the way that this usually works, the way that the quote unquote justice system usually works now, we know, is that they probably said, hey, we'll give up some people that, they have some information. So because they have some information, they get off, even though you can make the argument that they should probably get more time because they're licensed professionals, right? Ketamine
Yeah.
Queen, she's just some chick, she's just some, I don't
She
know, man.
wasn't providing the prescription, she was just filling it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
She was a she was a street pharmacist.
This is so well, it's of course, it goes back to the war on drugs, right? So, drugs are bad, okay, unless you're doing cocaine in the White House. Unless you're doing, if you do all the cocaine in the White House, that's okay, but we're gonna bomb the boats that are shooting cocaine across fucking waters across the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whatever. But that's okay, right? Dude, I don't know, man. How do you how do you even think of it in any sort of terms like fairness, right? Like, and I kind of made this argument online, and I kind of got into it with some stupid idiot, and she was like, "Well, maybe they should quit breaking the law." And I'm like, "Yeah, you break the law every day, 5 times a day, without even realizing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many goddamn laws, and yeah, you were selling drugs to Matthew Perry, okay? If she wasn't selling drugs to Matthew Perry, he was gonna get it other places. Obviously, he did. So why is it that she's got 15 years and the doctor's got 8 months of house arrest? And
It's all
that's
about who you know and who you blow.
yeah, literally, exactly. So one of the things, one of the thing I got to show off the shirt, right? So last night I was able to go to a local hardcore show with my buddy Gary. Hi, Gary. And Ron. It was Ron's kid's birthday, so we were there for Ron's birthday and whatnots. And but they had so you can't really read it because it's done all in like metal font, like on purpose. But it's called A Sinking Ship. It's in there somewhere, trust me. But he was another fellow Hebron person, Darren Stieber. Him and his band. I don't know the rest of the guys. I talked to them a little bit, but they seem like nice guys. They're out of Valpo area, and like some good metal, some good hardcore. It was good music. I liked it. And so I went in there and I talked to them and all the other band members, not just band members, but bands, because there was 5 or 6 of them. And I handed out our business cards. And I said, hey, I don't know if you notice, I'm running for state rep as a libertarian. And they're like, okay. Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah. What do you need? I'm like, well, I want to put together a show of hardcore and metal bands. And I want to basically have that be like instead of having a spaghetti dinner, I want to have a fuck the system, like punk, metal, hardcore, Northwest Indiana show. Like fuck the Democrats, fuck the Republicans. This is what we're gonna do. And dude, every single one of them were like, yes, let's do it. So we're gonna I
Are you wanting to rage against the machine?
yeah, I'd like to actually rage against the machine instead of just fucking selling out to Ticketmaster like all those other fuckers did. Yeah, yeah. So there's some I'm excited about that, but so while we had, again, keeping on the theme, I just wanted to drop that in real quick. But what Keith and I had talked, you and I had talked throughout the week was not just that, but the fact that you got the guy that killed the girl on the train not going to get in trouble though. You've got the FedEx guy that's not going to working to not get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, you have this guy. Let me share my screen real quick. So this just in, the man accused of starting a fire at a 1.2 million square foot warehouse in California was reportedly influenced by Luigi Mangione. 29-year-old Camille Abdul Karim is now facing federal arson charges in addition to existing state charges. According to U.S. Attorney Bill Asaili, allegedly texted a coworker, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this is coming. Oh yeah, you got Dan Blitzerian running against uh that fat piece of shit down in Florida. Randy Fine. Randy Fine.
Isn't that what he fucking posted too?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, he said something about that fat Jew. I wasn't gonna go there. That's not there. I'm not from Florida. I mean, it's and then he got into it with the guys on TMZ because the TMZ guys were like, well, don't you see how that's anti-Semitic? And he goes, what? He is. He's a fat Jew. He doubled down, man. He was like, no, that's what it is. And it's like, so I'm not going there. I'm not trying to, you know, there's enough other shit for me to fight about and whatever. I think I absolutely am on the no more aid for Israel. I think Israel should be fucking cut off from everything. I don't need to, look, everybody looking at Randy Fine, he's basically a cartoon caricature of Porky fucking Pig. Whether he kisses the wall or not, that's immaterial. He's just a big. You see the videos of him walking around hitting the other people's buttons, like, you saw that, didn't you? Yeah. So yeah, no. But so there was that one. Now the other fun one, hold on 1 second. TMZ video of arson in Ontario. This one was crazy.
Are you gonna put the video up?
I was going to real quick. All right. Oh, hold on. All right. Let me share my screen one more time. Get some.
Should have paid us enough to live. We may not get paid enough to live, but these dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Why you've pivoted here and decided.
So I'm kind of curious. Does insurance have to cover that?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, they're going to, that is the same guy. Okay, so that Ontario. I was seeing Ontario. I was immediately thinking Canada. My bad. That's why I was like, why the fuck is the U.S. involved in this? But I misread. So it's Ontario, California. So it's the same one. I thought it was multiple fires.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same one. So, dude, listen, I'm not saying, it's the same thing with the Luigi Mangione guy, right? It's the same thing with that. He did that, and all of a sudden, my dad's cancer medicines that weren't being approved anymore. And now, mind you, it was what United wasn't approving was a medicine that was supposed to help with nausea, right? And because their thought process was, well, we don't need to cover that. That's not life-saving treatment. Okay, so you don't, we're not going to cover the nausea medicine. For a man that's going through chemotherapy, that was all of a sudden, they put a CEO down. All of a sudden, this son bitch, they're starting to approve shit. Now, mind you, they ended up coming back on it afterwards because they got sued by they were taken to court. United Healthcare was by their stockholders, saying, which is insane still to me, still absolutely insane to me, that they had the balls to say, hey, we're not making enough money. You need to start going back to stopping. You know what? Those sort of stories and those sort of things, they resonate, man. There is no more American dream, dude. There's no American dream. You're watching your money just get lit on fire by fucking madmen who tweet praise Allah on Easter fucking morning. Jesus fuck, dude. Like, and then say the next day it's going to be Tuesday. We're going to annihilate a civilization. Like, look, dude, I don't really want to spend too much time getting into Trump just getting fucking unhinged. We could.
You know what I don't get? He was saying that because the Strait of Hormuz was being blocked by Iran. But now the U.S. is putting a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz.
It's the very definition of a clusterfuck. So right before I got on here with you, I finished. Well, actually, first I was listening to a couple of different podcasts. Tucker has the guy that almost got blew up by fucking Israel. You ever see the video of the guy that was the journalist that the bomb goes off like right next to him? He had that guy on. It's actually a pretty good interview. I didn't finish it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. Like the guy says, he goes, Tucker Carlson asked him, he's like, so do you think that, this was on purpose? Like, what's your thought process? And he goes, we're out there. We cleared it with local officials to say, hey, we're going to go out there and, he works for the media. He's a journalist. He's wearing his journalist vest and he's out there doing his piece. They were on a bridge, so they were going through and destroying bridges. They were on a bridge that was already shot. So it's the double tap. They do it, and then they wait, and then as soon as you get some journalists and as soon as you get some medical people there, they do it again to kill them, so that you don't go and try to get the. That's literally a war crime. Now, I'm not talking like, because as soon as you say that, you get all these fucking dipshit MAGA motherfuckers that are like, it's not a war crime. You can't say that. Not everything's a war crime. Listen, we prosecuted people after fucking World War II for less shit than what we're doing right now. It's crazy.
When you do it so much that they have a name for it, a double tap.
Well, it's had that name for some time. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think it was created. That name was pulled out of thin air. I think that's what they've called it. But it's just, you just know that that's what happens. You know what I mean? But my point was, though, that what I was listening to was John Kiriakou, who had a guy on, and it was a really good interview. I mean, obviously I come out here and glaze him fucking every show we do. I'm like, well, John Kiriakou this, John Kiriakou this, and think what you want about that. It's a refreshingly smart take on a lot of shit, because it's not. So he had Bruce Fine. He's a constitutional scholar, and Bruce Fine categorizes, and he's like, he goes, we should be ashamed of ourselves. He's like, really? Because you figure 250 years ago, you had the signers of the Declaration of Independence that literally signed their death warrant. They said, we're going to go to war to be a free and sovereign country. And if they would have lost that war, you got a document right here. Well, who was it that started your shit? These guys right here. We're going to kill all 56 of them. He's like, you had a country of leaders that had balls, right? And now you have a country that runs on one thing, or he's talking specifically Congress, right? He goes, now you've got a bunch of people in Congress that just want to get reelected, and we can talk about that a little bit on Tuesday when we have the interview with the guys from the U.S. Congress term limits that I had signed my pledge. In fact, I have my pledge over here somewhere, dude. I got so much shit all over this desk. I drank 600 beers yesterday, and it didn't help that I was already like not feeling very good. So, yeah. Regardless, man, it's it all kind of comes back around. You've got, how are you supposed to live, raise a family, without getting too much in the weeds on all the lockout shit? You've got 2 different companies in Northwest Indiana that have people being locked out. While they're doing that, all you hear when you're listening to politicians, and all you hear when they're talking about jobs and stuff, right? And they're like, we need more. What do they say? We need more people in the trades, right? That's what they say. That's all you hear. That's what you hear all the politicians say. You can make good money. You can be in the trades. We need people to do stuff with their hands. Oh, you're in the trades? We don't want to pay you a good livable wage.
Yeah.
Sorry, good luck. What? It's so hypocritical, man. So hypocritical. I don't know. I'm going to stop ranting for a second and let you take the floor.
So the guy's name is Scott Tillman, the COO of U.S. Term Limits. That is who we're having on Tuesday.
Yes.
You've already signed the pledge with him?
Yep. Yes. I already signed the pledge with them. I shared that on my campaign stuff. I have the Chesterton Chamber of Commerce thing Tuesday morning, so that'll be interesting. I don't think.
You know what you should play? You went to, what were you at? You were at the Carpenters Hall.
Oh yeah.
We should probably talk about that.
Yeah, I had a good meeting with the Carpenters, man. So yeah, I went to the Carpenters union campaign thing. It was it wasn't the Democrat night, obviously. It was the night they did add the Libertarians. Thank you, Steve Toth, again for having me. He's a super nice guy. We got a chance to BS a little bit. He was. It was awesome, right? So we had so before I play this, Aaron didn't start recording in time. I started off actually. So
Well,
I was
you have to set the scene first, because what I think makes this hilarious is that the majority of the Republicans all went before you.
Yes. So almost everybody in here, there was like literally 2 guys that went after me. I don't know. And I don't know how they determined who was going to go next, because I showed up in the middle of the pack and signed my name up. So I knew I signed up real close to Brian Bowles, because Brian Bowles was there. Got a chance to talk to him. He said that he's still planning on coming on the show at some point. I told him, I go, well, the primary's coming up close. And so, whenever he gets back in touch with me, I've reached out to him a couple of times. We've got a backlog of other people that want to come on. So if he gets a chance to come on before the primary, great. If not, that's fine too. But he signed his name down like a couple of people before me. So he went up and I'm like, all right, Aaron, I'm probably coming up close. And then like they just kept coming. I mean, there was probably 30, 35 politicians. There were
all Republicans.
I was the only Libertarian. And then there was like 8 Carpenters.
It was a packed house.
It was a packed house of politicians. And it was fine though, because I knew, the people that were there, I think were a lot more of like movers and shakers. It was people that were going to give their opinion, right? So I get up there, and before Aaron hits play, I go, well, all the politicians have went. Now it's time for the Libertarian. And then I said this. So.
Having me on. I was a lifetime Republican. Well, I guess not lifetime because I'm here. But I switched parties, mostly because I got tired of having the pressure from the top. A lot of these guys up here know what I'm talking about. You can say a lot of things, but at the end of the day, when you actually get elected, you have people that are above you, that they will talk to you, and they will bring you into another room, and they will ask you, hey, let's try not to push this too much. Let's try to push this so much. And so that's why I left the party. So to give you some background, I was elected on the Hebron Town Council 15 years ago. I spent most of my 20s sitting out at U.S. Steel Gary Works. I was a USW 2003. Since then, I got into sales, so I'm no longer union, but like everybody here can attest, was a blue-collar area that we all wear that on our sleeve. We're all here proud to be here asking for your vote. I decided to get into this race primarily because I didn't feel like Ed Soliday represented me. I didn't feel like Ed Soliday represented what everybody over here sits for. Yeah, you can say that, yeah, he voted against right to work. He's been in there for 14 years, or since then, it's been 14, 15 years since right to work passed. He certainly hasn't brought any legislation up to get rid of right to work. I plan on changing that, and that's why I'm not running as a Republican anymore. There's a lot of people in here. I don't want to say anything negative about everybody in here. None of these are my opponents. I have campaigned for a lot of these guys. I've known these guys my entire life, a lot of really great people. But I'm not in a position in my life to identify with the party. I feel like there's a lot of people that have that same identity. I don't want to be involved in a party that has been doing what they've been doing. I mean, without getting too much into the weeds, you guys all have an idea what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, I want to get downstate. I want to be a third-party voice. I want to be the person that can cross party lines. If there's good legislation and Republicans are pushing it, absolutely, I'll work with them. If there's good legislation and Democrats are pushing it, that's who I want to be. I look forward to talking to you guys after. I'll be hanging out here. I'm also here representing.
At that point,
You crashed and burned.
No, I forgot I was so focused on my own shit that I couldn't remember that she was running for Secretary of State. And then Erin was no help because she didn't bring her fucking glasses. And so I called out to her and I go, hey, real quick, what is it? And she's like, I can't read it. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like, so she had to like come up and bring it up. And I was like, all she had to do was yell out, Secretary of State. But she couldn't read the goddamn thing because she never fucking glasses. So regardless, it's fine. It's my fault. I was the one that I was so zeroed in on what I was doing that I didn't have her, her piece with me. And so I just had a quick momentary brain fart. So, but yeah, so regardless, not, and I did want to go a little more in depth with the finer points, and I'm going to get a chance to. They're going to do this again, and obviously I'll be on the ballot, so I'll get a chance to be there and to get involved in all that shit. So I'm gonna be a little more honed in on the next one.
Well, hopefully they give you more than 3 minutes.
That was the problem. It was you only get 3 fucking minutes, and so I spent 2.5 minutes turning to the Republicans, going, "Hey, fuck you guys." And then, which was fine. That was fun because you had like Randy Nehemiah. Dude, none of them wanted to make any eye contact. Well, the best was Nate Aldrich, I think is his name. He's I met him for the first time. You know how I met him for the first time is I was walking around wearing my new Teamster cannabis workers shirt at first. I didn't have I got in and I had my gray shirt, but I wanted to show my support of union. So I bought that Teamster cannabis shirt the day before. I'm like, I'm going to wear that motherfucker. And it's a nice shirt. It's, it's comfy. And, I've been hitting it. So I had it, when I already wear like a suit, I feel like I'm just like, hi, I'm Travis. There's a reason the guys that lift weights don't wear suits very often because they're like, hey, so I'm up there and I've got my suit jacket on. I get in there, I take it off, and I go over to get some coffee. And dude, it was like flies to shit. All of them. Hey, I'm so and so. I'm so and so. I'm like, oh, hey, cool. And I got my coffee and I'm sipping. And they're like, oh, so what do you do? I go, I'm actually a libertarian candidate running against Ed Soliday. And they're like, oh, they scatter out like a roach, And you look up, there's God, there's a politician up there hanging out. But so I and actually there was a couple of them that I'm not even kidding. Hand on a Bible. I'll do what Trump refused to do when he got sworn in, because he didn't actually want to put his hand on the Bible when he got sworn in. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I found that out this past week. So I'll do what Trump refused to do. I'll put my hand on a Bible. I gotta find one around here, but here's my metaphorical Bible. And there was 3 different candidates that said to me afterwards, hey, good luck. We're going to vote for you. We're going to be telling our people to vote for you. Literally one said verbatim, fuck Ed Soliday. That wasn't me. I didn't say it. That was a different Republican that's running for office. I'm just repeating what was said to me. Take that with whatever grains of salt you want. But so I met that Nate guy who's the new party leadership, and he's hey, I'm Nate. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was thinking about my own shit. I was thinking about my speech. I was up here, and so I was standing over there by Brian Bowles, kind of bullshitting with him for a minute, and he that Nate guy comes up and is like, oh, hey, I'm Nate Aldrich. I'm running for such and such, blah, 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 blah. And I go, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, full disclosure, I'm like, I'm actually a libertarian candidate. He goes, oh, okay, well, what's your name? I go, Travis Guerra. And he goes, Travis Guerra. And then you can see it click, like, I know who this guy is. Like, then it like clicks. And I go, yeah, I'm the one running against Ed Soliday. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I just couldn't stand, being with the party, party leadership's fucking, is pretty fucked up. I'm like, I can give you a dissertation here on why, I'm not a Republican anymore, and he's like, oh, no, no, that's fine. And he walks away and Brian goes, well, that was entertaining. And I go, yeah, why? I mean, I told him, I go, yeah, there's been like 20 of these guys come up to me thinking I'm just a union guy. Why? What's up? And he goes, well, that was, the new party chairman. And I go, oh, that's funny. So I basically just told the party chairman, yeah, I'm not a Republican anymore because of motherfuckers like you. And again, I don't know the guy. He might be the nicest guy in the world. I don't wanna say anything, I'm not saying anything negative. Uh-huh.
Hey, it happens.
It was fun. It was a good time. Uh,
It
I
looks
actually
like the Democrat night was either Friday night or Saturday night.
it was the week before.
Are
It
you
was a little bit
sure?
yeah.
Because the pictures I saw posted looked like it was over the weekend.
It was before. It was yeah, I know it was because I have a couple of Democrats that are running that are buddies that sent me some stuff. So, here we go. Candidate form. So here we go. There's the agenda. Let's see. No, there's still no Ed Soliday for the state rep District 4 for the Duneland Chamber of Commerce thing.
No?
No, it's just going to be me and Ryan Kaminakis. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if we're going to speak right after each other or what, or debate or what. Oh, I hope it's a debate. That'll be so fun.
That'd be hilarious. It would be a hilarious debate if when you're talking, you start going like this and shit.
Hey, folks. Travis Gearhart here. Well, this is actually kind of a good spot right here because you got all of the, I mean, honestly, anybody that's interested in what all the people that you got running in all these local races. I mean, you've got all of it. I saw Buckley. He seemed to be doing well. His, he said that he has an opponent, Heather
Buckley
McCart.
does?
Yeah, I think I knew that, but I forgot. Yeah, there's a yeah, it's interesting. So that's what Nate Aldrich is running for, State Senator District 4. He's running against Senator Rodney Pohl. That's interesting. I don't think.
Doesn't sound familiar. Must be up north.
Yeah, I think so.
Where's
Well, you're gonna
Poll
have.
from?
Oh, Mervan has a primary opponent. Did you know that?
No?
Lavette Sparks Wade. Miss that one. Because then you got Barb Regnitz and Jim Schenke are the two Republicans. Yeah, I'll have to pay attention to everybody's thing.
Yeah. Haven't really been looking at it. Nothing's been too interesting.
No, it's kind of one of those, I don't know, man. Again, it's, I mean, listening to all the candidates, you had some that were better speakers than others, what's his name? Oh, I just said his name earlier. Not Aylesworth, Nehemiah. Randy Nehemiah gave a nice little speech. I mean, he's a decent talker. He's a nice enough guy. Again, he's kind of one of those, he's one of those guys like this is, he talks a lot, but he's had lots of opportunities of being involved and being in the system to actually change something. And there's been nothing. In fact, I believe he got NiSource money, if I'm not mistaken. What? Did Randy Nehemiah get NiSource money?
Lavetta Sparks Wade of
Yeah.
Levitt, Sparks, and Wade is running for Congress in 2026. She's a Democrat. She's running against Frank Mervan. Levitt Sparks Wade is a personal injury and wrongful death law firm based in Indiana. Did you know that? How have I never heard of that one?
Mm.
They handle car and truck accidents, workplace injuries, medical malpractice, product liability, and wrongful death lawsuits. Offices in offices in Maryville, Crown Point, and other nearby locations.
I mean,
Well,
you
good
know,
luck.
yeah, good luck to her.
She is the director of parks for the city of Gary. She was a 6th District Gary Common Council member from 2016 to 2019. And now she's a candidate for U.S. House, Indiana District 1.
What has Mervan really done? You know, he showed up and picked up a paycheck. You know?
Well,
Yes, I was right. He did get some NiSource money, which is interesting because then he was doing all the those videos. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You know?
both
Anyway,
sides of his mouth.
well, they all do, man. That's why it's like, that's why I'm looking forward to. I really am. I'm looking forward to just keep getting this message out. I was hoping to do a little bit more today. I was hoping to get a little more, hoping to get more shit done. But like I said, I needed a rest day. I was just so drained from the week. And I got to go be out of town for half this week. In fact, when we do our show on Tuesday, I'm going to be doing it from a hotel. So,
Oh, where are you going?
got to go to Grand Rapids. Yeah. So, not too far. Grand Rapids, Michigan ain't too far, but I got to go up there and you got the Cast Expo. So, go do my actual job, the shit that I get paid to do. That's the fun stuff. So, other than that, you got anything interesting coming up or fun?
Not really. I'm scrolling through NFL news now to see if there's anything new. Caleb McGarry, right tackle of the Falcons, he retired.
No idea who he is.
Yeah, no clue. But it leaves a big hole on Atlanta's O-line.
Atlanta. My Atlanta. I do like how, so this has been a good one here. So after all the firebombing and shit, I've seen this picture circulating around quite a bit. All you had to do was stop taxing us and leave us alone.
Nice.
Now, again, this is not me saying that we should go burn down the White House now. Come on. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you have this much shit going on in the world, you got to assume that there's going to be some people that are going to start wanting to burn buildings down. I don't know, dude. Like, when does it? Yeah, I know we've said it a few times on this show and people are probably tired of hearing it, but at a certain point in time, you start marching, like, where's our fucking our moment, and every time that there starts to be something, you had the Tea Party, right? You had the Tea Party, that was when I first got involved. That's when you first got involved. Remember that? You're like, yeah, dude, I showed up, how many speeches I gave at so many different tea parties. That was when I was really pushing the Matters of Opinion show, right?
I'm laughing because I'm scrolling through like new news. Florida man stopped at airport with 47 uncooked hot dogs taped to his body.
What?
Yeah. In Florida, Michael K. Williams, a 61-year-old man, was arrested at Tampa International Airport after authorities found 47 uncooked hot dogs taped to his body under his clothes. Williams claimed he was just being efficient. He's trying to avoid buying food at the airport.
Could you imagine how he would smell? You imagine the smell of, like, literally hot dog water, like, floating around your balls? Think about it. Think about all that hot dog smell. Oh, I got bugs coming in. It's about that time. It's that time of year where you have your windows up all day, but then as soon as it gets dark out, there's 1,000 mosquitoes floating in.
Yep. Well, I don't know. This one might be a short one. We're at 42 minutes, and
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the nice part about this is we don't have to just sit here and babble for an hour. We kinda talked about the stuff that we wanted to talk about.
Well, sports-wise, there's nothing going on. I've caught a lot of the clips of, I don't know what the rule is, but in baseball now, the catcher or the batter can challenge the umpire's call, like if he calls a strike or a ball, then they bring up the video, the I don't know, computer image, AI image, whatever you wanna call it. I think it's hilarious. I don't really watch baseball, but I think it's hilarious because, man, that the ump's gotta be pissed. Like, "You're challenging my call?" There's been some
It is
pretty
funny.
funny ones.
Yeah, you go over there, kick some dirt on him and shit. Yeah, that was baseball is always such a well, and we were kinda making fun of it when there was, like, a little fight in baseball. I was where was I? I think I was in indoor golf league or something. Eddie's a big baseball guy, but he was like, "Look at these fucking guys fighting." He's like, "They're not even, they're kinda like, oh, they're kinda like, yeah." And I'm like, "You know what, man? If you're gonna already get ejected for the game and you're already gonna get in trouble for fighting, drop him." You know what I mean? Just drop him. Like, that's what you need if you're gonna do it, right? This has been a very violent podcast.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? All they had to do was stop taxing us and leave us alone.
Yep, that's right.
That's it.
That'll never happen.
Well,
Alright, though, we're coming up on 45 minutes. I think this is a wrap.
I call it a wrap. Well, my name is Travis Gearhart.
I'm Keith Cunningham.
And we are
Disenfranchised.
Listen from God, broken glass.